Why is it that the more you break your back to make her happy, the more she looks at you like you're something she stepped on in the street? Behavioral observations suggest that for a lot of men, the harder they work, the more useless they are told they are. You might be coming home with grease on your hands, sweat on your brow, and a paycheck in your pocket, only for her to tell you that you don't do enough because you didn't notice her new fingernail polish or because you're too tired to talk for 3 hours. Psychological patterns show that this isn't about your work ethic. It's about a power play designed to keep you feeling small so you never realize you're the one carrying the whole house on your shoulders. In this deep dive lesson, we are going to look at the moving goalpost trick and why some women use guilt like a leash to keep a good man running in circles. We are going to explain why doing more for an ungrateful woman is like pouring gasoline into a car with no engine. You're just wasting your fuel while she stays parked. If you've ever felt like you're failing even though you're giving 100%, you need to listen to every word of this because the truth about relational greed is the only thing that will set you free. I'm not here to impress the crowd. I'm here for the man quietly rebuilding his life brick by brick. The man who got hurt but didn't stay broken. The man who learned the hard lesson and chose growth anyway. If that's you, don't stay in the background. Subscribe. Stand with men who are choosing strength the right way. Leave a comment and let your presence be known. No hype, no chaos, just discipline, direction, brotherhood. The first big thing we have to talk about is the bottomless bucket. Behavioral observations suggest that some people have a hole in their soul that no amount of money, attention, or kindness can ever fill. When a woman tells a man he isn't doing enough, she is often trying to fix her own internal boredom by making it his job. Psychological patterns show that a woman who isn't happy with herself will always find a reason to be unhappy with you. You see, a man thinks that if he fixes the roof, pays the bills, and stays faithful, the contract is satisfied. But for a woman who is emotional vampirism, there is no contract. There is only, "What have you done for me in the last 5 minutes?" You are the victim of emotional vampirism when your partner uses your good heart as a straw to suck out all your energy. She keeps you in a state of not enough because as long as you feel like a failure, you will keep serving her to try and win her back. We also have to look at the shame game. Behavioral patterns show that shame is the most powerful tool used against high accountability men. Because you are a man who wants to be good, you are very easy to manipulate. When she says you aren't a real provider or my friend's husband takes her on vacations, she is hitting your masculine pride. Psychological observations suggest that this is a mental trap. She knows that if she makes you feel less than, you will double your efforts to prove her wrong. But here's the brutal truth. The moment you try to prove your worth to a woman who is shaming you, you have already lost your authority. You are the victim of identity hijacking when you let her complaints define whether or not you are a good man. A real man defines his own enough. He knows if he is doing his job, and if she can't see it, that's a vision problem on her end, not a labor problem on his. Let's look at the story of Julian. Julian was a man who lived by the old school rules. He worked 2 jobs, one in a warehouse and one doing delivery at night. He bought his wife a nice house, a safe car, and made sure the fridge was always full. But his wife, Sarah, spent all day on her phone looking at influencers. She started telling Julian that he was boring and that he didn't support her dreams. She told him he wasn't doing enough because he didn't take her to fancy brunches like the men she saw on Instagram. Julian felt terrible. He thought, maybe she's right. Maybe I'm just a boring worker. So Julian took out a credit card he couldn't afford and started buying her luxury bags and taking her to expensive dinners. He stopped sleeping just to provide more. Julian is the loser in our story because he fell for the mirage of gratitude. He thought that if he reached the next level of giving, Sarah would finally say thank you. But psychological patterns show that gratitude doesn't come from gifts, it comes from respect. Because Julian was acting like a beggar trying to buy her love, Sarah lost all respect for him. She saw his hard work as weakness. She started an affair with a guy who worked at a gym, a guy who had no money and no house, but who treated her with indifference. Julian was left with debt, exhaustion, and a broken heart. He found out that you can't fill a hole in a woman's heart with the money from your wallet. He was a victim of service slavery, proving that the man who breaks himself to please an ungrateful woman usually ends up discarded once he has nothing left to give. The second big reason this happens is the comparison trap. Behavioral observations suggest that social media has ruined the peace of the modern home. In the old days, a woman compared her husband to the neighbor. Now, she compares you to the top 1% of men on the entire planet. When she says you aren't doing enough, she's comparing your Mondays to some billionaire's Saturdays. Psychological patterns show that this creates a constant state of disrespect. You are the victim of digital devaluation when she lets a screen tell her that your real-world protection isn't valuable. A man who understands this doesn't compete with the internet. He tells his partner, if you want that life, go find it. But in this house, we value reality. If you don't set that boundary, you will spend your whole life chasing a ghost that you can never catch. Furthermore, we must address the pre-infidelity exit strategy. Behavioral patterns show that a woman who's planning to leave or planning to cheat, she has to make it your fault. This is a way for her to keep her reputation clean. If she tells everyone you weren't doing enough, then when she betrays you, she can say, I was lonely or I was neglected. Psychological observations suggest that her constant nagging is actually a way to push you away so she can feel justified in her bad behavior. You are the victim of moral sabotage when she uses complaints to build a case against you in the court of public opinion. You think you are having an argument, but she is actually writing a divorce script. The reality is that enough is a decision, not a destination. Behavioral observations suggest that a high-value woman will look at a man who is struggling and building and say, I am proud of you. She will add to your peace, not add to your stress. When a woman makes you feel like you are falling short, she is telling you that she is a consumer, not a partner. You are the captain of your life. If a passenger on your boat is drilling holes in the floor because the boat isn't fast enough, you don't row harder. You stop the boat and put them on the shore. True masculine sovereignty is knowing that your best is a premium product, and if she wants to shop at the dollar store, that is her choice. The section continues with a deep breakdown of why begging for appreciation is a biological turnoff and how it causes a woman to lose her physical desire for her husband. The analysis expands on the psychology of contentment and why modern boredom is being blamed on hardworking men who are just doing their duty. You have to realize that you are the standard bearer. If you let a woman tell you that your best isn't good enough, you are essentially handing her the crown and becoming her subject. A man who respects his own labor as a man who cannot be manipulated by unfair comparisons. If you are providing, protecting, and leading to the best of your ability, then you are doing enough. Anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to steal your peace to pay for their drama. Stand tall in your truth. I don't make content for the average mindset. I make it for the man who holds himself accountable when nobody's watching. The man who can say no to distractions, not because he's controlled, but because he's in control. If you're looking for comfort, this won't resonate. But if you're building discipline, rebuilding your standards, and refusing to stay average, you belong here. Most people watch, nod, and disappear. But if you're different, prove it. Subscribe, leave a comment. Not for me, for you. Let this be the moment you stop consuming and start committing. The third psychological reason she makes you feel like you aren't doing enough is the comparison mirror of self-loathing. Behavioral observations suggest that when a woman is unhappy with her own life, perhaps she isn't reaching her own goals or feels insecure about her age or status, she looks for a target to blame. Because you are the closest person to her, you become the mirror for her disappointment. Psychological patterns show that it is much easier for her to say, "You aren't providing enough luxury," than for her to admit, "I feel empty inside and I'm taking it on you." You are the victim of displaced frustration when she uses your hard work as a punching bag for her own midlife crisis or internal boredom. A man who understands this doesn't try harder to make her happy. He realizes that her happiness is a broken machine that he doesn't have the tools to fix. We also have to analyze the respect decay of the overpleaser. Behavioral patterns show that when a man jumps every time a woman complains, he is actually lowering his value in her eyes. It sounds backwards, but the more you try to prove you are doing enough, the more she believes you are guilty of being insufficient. Psychological observations suggest that women are attracted to stability and strength, not desperation. When you beg for her to see your effort, you are acting like a child asking for a gold star from a teacher. You are the victim of value erosion when your kindness is mistaken for weakness. You cannot satisfy a woman by chasing her expectations. You can only satisfy her by leading her toward your standard. Let's look at the path of Damien. Damien was a man who worked in construction, long hours, physical labor, and a heavy mental load. His partner, Chloe, stayed home but spent most of her time complaining that Damien didn't romance her enough and that their house wasn't as nice as the ones she saw on TV. For a long time, Damien felt like a failure. He started working weekends just to buy Chloe the things she asked for, hoping she would finally tell him he was a good man. Damien is the winner in our story because he hit a breaking point where he realized the law of diminishing returns. One day, after Chloe complained that he was too tired to take her out, Damien didn't apologize. He didn't make an excuse. He simply looked at her and said, "I am a man who provides a roof, food, and safety. If my best is not enough for you, then I am clearly the wrong man for you. I will no longer be overextending myself to meet a standard that changes every week. From now on, I am focusing on my health and my mission. You can either join me in gratitude, or you can find a man who fits your fantasy." Damien won because he took his power back by being willing to walk away. The moment he stopped trying to prove himself, the power dynamic shifted. Chloe realized that her complaining had lost its leash. She saw that Damien was a high-value man who didn't need her validation to know he was doing enough. Because Damien held his frame, Chloe either had to step up and appreciate him or step out and lose everything. Damien stayed sovereign because he stopped auditioning for a role he already owned. He was a master of emotional stoicism, proving that the most satisfying thing a man can do is satisfy himself first. The fourth major reason is the trap of the digital comparison. Behavioral observations suggest that modern women are overstimulated by the top 0.1% of men on social media. Psychological patterns show that she is comparing your real-life struggles to the fake life success of strangers. You are the victim of the mirage effect when she treats you like a failure because you aren't a billionaire athlete. You cannot win against an algorithm. The only rational move is to ignore the noise and focus on the signal. Furthermore, we must address the maintenance of the victim narrative. Behavioral patterns show that some people love being the victim because it gives them attention and sympathy from their friends. If she admits you are doing enough, she has to stop complaining to her girlfriends. Psychological observations suggest that she is sacrificing your reputation to buy social currency. You are the victim of reputational theft when she paints you as a negligent husband to make herself look like a long-suffering saint. The final realization is that you are the benchmark. Behavioral observations suggest that a sovereign man decides what enough looks like based on his resources, his goals, and his integrity. If you are honest, hardworking, and focused, then you are the standard. Anyone who tells you you are locking while they are taking is a leech on your legacy. You are the chief executive of your life. If a shareholder is devaluing the stock, you don't work harder for them. You buy back the shares and remove them from the board. The reality is that the world will always ask for more, but the wise man knows when he has given plenty. Behavioral observations suggest that peace is found in self-approval, not external validation. If you are breaking your soul for a woman who won't even fix your plate, you are out of alignment. You are the king. You are the builder. If she thinks the grass is greener on the other side, let her go mow it herself. I have a smart question for the men who have the sovereign fortitude to finish this session on the brutal truth. If you were building a bridge across a raging river to save your family, and one person on the bank kept screaming that you weren't hammering the nails fast enough, would you stop building to argue with them, or would you finish the bridge and only let the grateful people cross it? You are the builder. The bridge is your life. The screamer is the ungrateful partner. Stop hammering for people who won't help you carry the wood. Drop a comment below and tell the Brotherhood, what was the one moment you realized that her complaints were about her insecurity and not your inadequacy? How did you change your life once you stopped trying to be enough for someone who was never satisfied? Share your moment of clarity. Your truth might be the blueprint a brother needs to stop building for a trader and start building for a kingdom. Let's build the Council of Sovereign Men together. The fact that you're still here tells me something about you. You don't run from uncomfortable truths. You sit with them, you learn from them, and you apply them. That's rare. So understand this, you're not just watching content, you're building yourself in real time. And men who choose growth like that don't walk alone here. If this message sharpened you even a little, subscribe and stand with this community. Drop a comment and let me know what hit home. I pay attention. Keep tightening your standards. Keep doing the work. I'll see you in the next one.